Hello students, I'm Argen Kukitaev, and in this lecture we are going to continue uh, learning about coding the decision trees. In the last lecture we've learned how to build a decision tree. So we've learned how to find optimal, in some sense, decision tree using this card algorithm applied to a data set which was empty cars. All right, it's this cars data set with only 32 instances in it. Very small data set, but good to learn this basic stuff, right? So we've learned that, and we've learned building. When I say optimal, quote unquote, I don't mean globally optimal, but it's some kind of a tree which can be trained. And it's better than some sort of a random tree usually, but it's not the globally optimal, because we know card algorithm is not trying to find the best tree out there. It does it on level by level, on like node by node cases. On every depth it's optimal, but it's not globally optimal. So without getting into details, just recall what we've studied in the lectures. And by the way, I'm obviously building on the, or at least I'm assuming you took my lectures, taking my class now, so you know the conceptual part. So here we're only doing coding, we're not doing any theory. So I rely on whatever theory we've learned in the class. Okay, so we built this card algorithm, and we were able to build a decision tree for this data set. Of any depth we want, right? So we wrote the code there, and now we're going to learn the following. Okay, we've built the tree, we trained it, we know how to do it, we wrote the function for it called, if you remember at the end of this note, it was called make branches, right? Now we want to learn how to code the predictor. So because we trained the tree, but now how to use it, how to actually make predictions. So we'll learn that. We'll build a little predictor function, and using this predictor function we will test our tree in a cross-validation setup, meaning we will be splitting the data set into training and a test. We will be training on the training side, obviously, and then predicting for the test, and then comparing our results, getting some metrics. Very simple task. You will see how to code it. It will take us probably about half an hour to code that, maybe even less. But before getting there, why don't we get a little bit into what the trees are, right? Let's see. So I went into this w3schools.com. It's a very nice website. I use it sometimes for things related to coding, some internet stuff like web pages and so on, but it has some useful general programming concepts such as trees, because trees are coming, it's not only in mathematics, mathematics studies trees, graph theory and so on, but trees are also a very common data structure in computer science. So we are not in computer science course here, but we want to learn a little bit about trees, or rather rehash what we've learned so far. So we, in the section called data structures, at the end of the last lab, we came to a point where we basically created this little data structure based on the lists, which represents the tree. So let's quickly review what is a tree from computer sciencey type of angle, right? So the tree looks kind of like this, right? The trees which we build with card algorithm in machine learning are binary trees. Binary trees mean that you see at this node, well, let's look at the nodes terminology, right? The nodes are these points which are connected by the edges. So there's a root node R, right? This is a root node here, the root node. And from the root node, we get these branches. Now, the thing with branches is, you see from the root node here, we got 3 branches. From the node C, we have 4 branches, all right, and so on. Now, the trees which we build with card algorithm in machine learning have only 2 branches at every node. 2 branches. They have exactly 2 branches every time, right? So because we compare to the threshold, lesser than threshold or greater than threshold. That's why only 2 branches. That's why they're called binary. Remember, binary trees can be used to classify multi-class, not only 2 classes, but multiple classes. It's not, it's nothing to do with that. Binary means there's only 2 branches, okay? So we're building binary trees. Okay, well, the root node is the first node from where the tree starts, right? I have this root node. We have the edges, these like connections. And then we have the nodes, right? So at every, well, we have nodes, we have leaf nodes. Leaf nodes are the nodes which do not have branches, like terminal nodes. And leaf nodes are where we stop predicting, right? So imagine when we're predicting, we start prediction. We start with the root, and then in the root there will be what? There will be decision making. It'll tell us which feature to pick, and then what is the threshold for that feature. So we get our instance, we'll pull the feature which root node will contain, right? So this node will contain it, and you see here in our data structure, we said that for a branching node, like this, right? So they're called just nodes here, right? So I call branching node the nodes which have branches. So for the branching node, we have the split attribute of the branching node. Each node has 5 attributes in our data structure, and split attribute will say how to split the sample, right? So we got the whole sample, and we are told which feature to look at and which and corresponding thresholds. So we'll compare to the thresholds. Whatever is less will go to the left node, and whatever is greater than that will go to the right node. So for instance, if we're splitting using in MT-CARS dataset, if we're splitting using displacement, so we'll say if displacement is lesser than 260, then all the data set, like all the samples, go to the left side. If displacement is greater, then the samples are going to the right hand side. And then left hand side and right hand side will contain all these like cylinder counts, like how many 4 cylinder cars on the left hand side, 6 and 8. And then we can calculate how many 4, 6 and 8 cylinders on the right hand side of our sample, and so on. And we'll continue going over these branches, like, okay, then if the number of, if displacement were lesser than the threshold, it's node A, right? So for node A there will be another feature and its threshold. So we'll compare and keep splitting until we reach the leaf node. Once we reach the leaf node, what are we going to do is the following. In the leaf node, you see we have this class frequencies. So classes are, in case of empty cars, if you remember, classes are cylinders, 4, 6, and 8. So what we're going to do is, once we reach the leaf node, we will look at the frequencies of each class in this subsample, in this node. And if it's a pure class, then it's very easy, right? Then you just pick whatever the max is. But if it's not pure, if let's say there's a certain number of 4, 6, and 8, we will pick the one with the greatest frequency. So if because hopefully the tree led to the node where we got it almost pure, at least, right? Meaning that there's one of the cylinders has most frequency in it. So we'll see. We'll look at the examples later, right? And then we'll end. Once it's a terminal road, we return and say, well, we found, this is our prediction. It's going to be 4 cylinder or 6 or so, right? We'll see it in dataset. So that's how we're going to use the dataset, the data structure. So again, in the data structure, we are using the dictionary here, right? So we're using the dictionary, and in the dictionary, every node will have 5 attributes, such as left side, right, left branch, right branch. And then class frequency, split, and indices are, they belong to the current node. Left and right will lead us to the left side or the right hand side. And then when we were training it, we've learned how to recursively build the tree. Now we will learn how to recursively predict using the tree. We will be traversing the tree, right? Starting from the root, traversing until we get to the final, like a leaf node. Then we stop, pick the highest frequency, and return. That will be our prediction. A couple of other things, like terminology in the trees in computer science, like child tree, right? So A is a child because it has a parent R. A root does not have a child, right? A root is not a child. Root is a parent to our children, but it's not a child itself. Parent nodes are the nodes which have children, right? So in this case, I called it branching node in my case here. I probably should call it a parent node. But yeah, so in this terminology, it's called parent, meaning that it has children, right? And then obviously leaf node does not have children. Okay, tree height is like this, right? So if we put the maximum height at 2 of the tree, remember max depth hyperparameter when we're training decision trees, and we use the same parameter in our data structure in our little implementation. It means the depth of the tree or height can be only 2. So it means we start with a root 0, and then we go to depth 1 a, and then depth 2 e in this case. So the depth can be only 2. Basically, you can have only 2 edges. That's how we could describe it, right? There are some algorithms which work with tree size, right? So the size here is 10 because it's a number of nodes. In our implementation, we don't use size in any way. Okay, so that's an introduction. Now, why don't we start coding?